Ooh. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Do I get to hit the gavel? Can I hit the gavel to start the meeting? Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Let's start the meeting with the pledge. How's that sound? I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Do we have any announcements this morning? I see we have a guest slash possible new member, Zach, right? How do you pronounce your last name? Barba? Brado? Well, the D. Cool, thanks. Zach, welcome. We hope you enjoy it and fill that application out. And we can always use new members, new blood, all right? Let's see, let's go with the inspiration. Jill, you want to come on up?
I found this in light of the theme being kind of vacation type of things. It's a quote from John Kennedy. "We are tied to the ocean, and when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came." That's my inspiration.
Thanks, Jill.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I want to go over the members that we have here today this morning. We have Sylvia, Jackie, Lent, of course, Zach, our new guest, Mike Licata, Dave Licata, Mike Florio. It's me. Thank you. Steve Smith, Jill Roaring, Dave, and Nancy. Let's see, online, I see Margot Sue Bittner. There's Larry, Dave. My glasses just worked these out. Let's see, Carol Ann's there. And there's the crew. There's Kate. Hey, Kate, waving, heading down the road. Awesome. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over right now to Sylvia Baptiste, our Toastmaster this morning, with the theme of weekend getaways. Sylvia, good morning.
Morning. I'm watching the screen and I'm watching who walks in. I just want to remind everyone to use their ballots today. And on the top section of the ballots, you can put a little suggestion to our speakers, table topics, what you liked about their speech, maybe how to improve. They're always helpful. So please fill out your ballots. So the theme this morning, weekend getaways. Being June, everybody's thinking of vacation time. Let's get out. We had a long winter. So when you say weekends, some people think Saturday, Sundays. I have a different definition of weekends. My weekend starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. As I get older, I'm extending this weekend and holidays a day longer, 2 days longer. I figured, at my age, David's age, we earned it, right? Weekends are not just 2 days a week anymore. If you stay local, also, you're going to travel a little bit farther. And if you're not here, you're going to go to Central New York or wherever. And you got to stop for coffee. It's going to take you half a day to get to where you want to go. So you need that extra day. For example, you may want to go to the Adirondacks, Central New York, Saratoga, Chautauqua, Catskills, Fingers Lakes, Thousand Islands, Hudson Valley, maybe Long Island, Erie, PA, maybe Niagara on the Lake. And some of these places, 3 to four of them that I mentioned, they are definitely 4 to 5 day vacations. So I'm going to focus a little bit on the festivals and the events that's going on in New York. And the reason is, it's been a long winter, cold winter, and I like to be outside, walking around, looking at things, and of course, the food. As a foodie, tons of tasty events to attend. So I'm going to take Binghamton. They have a party going on this year called Spidey's Party. It's their 40-year anniversary. It's August 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Some attractions, of course, is live concerts, volleyball tournaments, 5K races, cooking contest. I told you the food is always going to get in there. Hot air balloon rides. And this year, Wegmans is sponsoring a big hot air balloon of a birthday cake to celebrate the 40 years. Now, it didn't say exactly who the other sponsor is, but you could probably take a guess. Their hot air balloon is a baby dinosaur cracking out of an egg. Dinosaur barbecue is my guess. And of course, the cooking contest is bragging rights. You do win a backyard chef champion belt, just like the wrestlers, WW there. And of course, a smoker. Hudson Valley also has a barbecue contest in 2023. Double Dubs won, and they're from Laramie, Wyoming. And I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but it's near the hometown of Josh Allen. They won. Also, we have our National Wing Fest here in Buffalo at Highmark Stadium. Everyone has something going on. Oswego has a Harbor Fest. Central New York has a Fibers Art Festival. Finger Lakes, the Blues Festival that just ended last weekend, and many, many wine festivals. Let's see, I'm trying to hold off on calling our jobs, but I think everyone just is about here but 2. So we'll go back to the 2. Wordmaster, Wagmaster, Nancy, what is our word today?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Our word today is exorbitant. Will your weekend getaway be exorbitant in cost, or will it be maybe humble? Exorbitant is an adjective, and it means exceeding the customary or appropriate limits. Maybe your exorbitant spending might be in food or drinks, or it might be in the travel part of it. Who knows? You please use that word of the day. And I will also be listening for filler words, ers, ahs, so's, and a little grammar. Please use the correct tense of the verbs.
Our next job holder is our quote master, Dave Chanley.
Thank you. I have learned that people will forget what you say. People will forget what you do. But people will not forget how you make them feel. Thank you. That is a quote from Maya Angelou.
Thank you. I'm going to go to our quiz master who is online, Dave Jones.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As far as weekend getaways, last year I went to Lockport, New York in October and had a great time exploring the ports and finding out about the Licata history. So I went ahead and booked my Lockport trip this coming October, October 10th. I'll be there at the meeting. And I don't know if I'm going to get booed for this, but then after that, I'm going to head to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls and stay there for the weekend. But I'm looking forward to being there October 10th at Lockport. My job today is I'm going to be listening to different sayings and interesting facts that people say. And at the end of the meeting, I'll see if we've all been paying attention and quiz you on what I've heard. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. We're changing the agenda a little bit. And I have Len, who's going to be our timer this morning. And Len, would you like to come and tell us about your job?
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. My job as timer today is to make sure everybody speaks within the required parameters. And you will see on the screen, if you're in person here, our typical background colors. Green means you've qualified. Yellow means time to start wrapping it up. 10 means you're at risk of going over. For table topics, it is 1.5 for green, 1 minute 45 for yellow, and 2 minutes is red with a 15-second buffer. Speeches are generally 5 to 7 minutes. You'll see lights at 5, 6, and 7. Evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. You'll see lights at 2, 2:30, and 3, again with a 30-second buffer. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Len, for stepping in. The next two roles, they are on their way. You did see Kate there online. She's driving and she's picking up Mary. So I'm going to start with table topics. Jackie Kenny. You.
Good morning, everyone. Weekend trips. I actually went on a weekend trip this past weekend to watch my grandson graduating from high school from a class of 450 teenagers. Talk about being surrounded by a scary group. They were amazing, but we also did a lot of fun things. Went to the Museum of Fine Arts and ate in some very nice restaurants, had a couple of other adventures, but unexpected things can happen on a weekend trip sometimes. Sometimes it's something delightful and sometimes it's a calamity. Margot, have you been on any weekend trips you'd like to share with us that were quite an adventure? And please use the word exorbitant. Margot.
Thank you for this opportunity, Jackie. And the most exorbitant trips we've been on, quite frankly, have been our cruises. But to think about a trip we've taken, especially in the summertime, I would probably have to go back to my youth. The challenge being, since 1980, when I moved out here, we've been farming. And you've heard the phrase, make hay when the sun shines? That's been our life in the summer. So an outing in the summertime will involve getting the RTV and driving around the orchards to see how the fruit is coming. And outing in the summer would be going out to dinner for our anniversary, we hope, discovering that the cold storage doesn't work and spending the rest of the evening fixing equipment.
Oh.
So going out and enjoying a weekend trip is not even on the radar screen for us. However, we do have pre-COVID, when we had a large family party, all these dinner gift certificates. So I am slowly but surely getting my husband to figure out that you can leave the farm a little early on some days and go out to dinner. We go very far for these dinners. We go to Medina to go to Zambistro. We go to Lockport so that we can go to the Fieldstone. And we have a number of them for Lewiston as well. So that seems to be our spread for going out on little trips. Maybe someday if he ever retires, which he says is when he turns 75, and for those who don't know, we are 65, we'll see if we do anything. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Margot. All right. I love a weekend when the whole family comes together, when they're all under one roof for at least a few days. We play board games, we do all kinds of things, pick out a movie that everybody might like. And we always have pancakes for breakfast, my grandson's favorite food. When he was little, I spelled his name out in pancake batter at every meal. That was fun. Still can eat at least a dozen nicely sized pancakes. So let's see, who else would like to talk? Joe, how about if you come up and tell us about a family get together that you especially like and enjoy the company of everyone? And don't forget to use exorbitant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I think the most exorbitant trips I was ever on were to Europe, and I have many great memories of my parents and I traveling to those countries across the ocean. But I live for family reunions. I love visiting family. I'm very close with two of my cousins, Amy and Karen, and very close with two of my cousins who live in Ohio, Rick and Kathy. Rick and his wife, Ling, who he met from China, are actually going to be coming up to stay with us this summer for a couple days, which I'm all excited about. They get to see our new home that we just moved into about a little over a year ago. And I also have a second cousin in Canada. Her name's Helen Phillips, who I'm very, very close with. And I met her at a family reunion during, I believe it was my junior year in high school. And to this day, she and I are still very, very close. We talk to each other. We Facebook one another. I just got a Facebook account since everybody has been nagging me to go on Facebook. So I finally went on Facebook just to shut everyone up. But I'm glad I did because it's very useful. Don't do it. Okay. Yeah. I'm careful though. Yes, I did use that word. Okay. Yes, I did say exorbitant because my trips to Europe were very exorbitant. But I always look forward to seeing family and seeing cousins, and hopefully some of my cousins will come up from Canada and see our new home because they'd like to, like Helen, for example, and her mom and her sister. We we hope to see them this summer. So I'm looking forward to seeing my cousin Rick and his wife, and always look forward to keeping those family connections because they are very near and dear to my heart. Thank you.
I need my little list so I know who to call on. I had a wonderful addition to this past weekend's adventure. There are tall ships in Boston Harbor, and we went for a sail for 2 hours around the harbor. It was just beautiful. A very pleasant evening, not too warm. And of course, out on the water, you have a nice breeze all the time. When the ship would heel over, I'd slide toward the rail and catch myself. But it wasn't scary at all. It was just exciting and very relaxing and pleasant. So I'm wondering if, let's see, Steve, have you had an adventure recently? Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't catch that. All right, let's give this a try. How about, well, Dave Licata, would you like to come up and tell us about an adventure you've had recently? Well, all right. In the recent past, before your or after your 5th birthday, maybe would be good.
Madam Table Topics Masters, fellow Toastmasters, our guest Zach. Myself and my wife are prone to little 2-day vacations. And if some of you have heard of the Curtis Hotel in downtown Buffalo, you might assume that it is exorbitant, but it's not really. Sure, it does cost more, but it is worth every penny. I can't say enough about the Curtis and the amenities in the Curtis, and plus they throw in the free breakfast the next morning, so that's always a plus. In the words of Frank from Everybody Loves Raymond and Archie Bunker himself, I don't think you can argue with me about the Curtis because the toilet seat is heated. This place is nuts. They've got a shower room with 7 different shower heads aimed at you. And then they have the special tub, a hot tub in addition to this crazy shower room. And not only does it have the different wave motion, you can pick what color you want the water to be. And that's the Curtis, and the breakfast is really, really nice. So we have been to the mansion on Delaware Avenue. We have been to the Curtis. We've been to the hotels, different hotels in Buffalo, and different bed and breakfasts just for the weekend, for the quick weekend. But here's a 2-day event because I promised, I heard we could work in a festival, right? This is charming as hell, very nice. It's only 11 miles from here, and I hope I'm not crowding anybody else's festivities, but this is Saturday and Sunday, July 27th and 28th of this year. And Crow Park will be dotted with crazy, crazy band organs. And the charm of this is beyond belief because you've never seen anything like this. And some of these band organs come via 18-wheelers. Thank you so much, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you, David. And now our new prospective member would like to have a couple of words to say. I think we can squeeze that in. So Zach, come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe one of your adventures. Zach. Very brave.
Thank you, everybody, for letting me be here this morning and join you. I'm sure that it's Dave, correct? I'm sure that many of Dave's speeches are quite exorbitant throughout the years. So there was a few things that you had mentioned throughout this morning that I just want to talk about. You had mentioned, I think it was the cooking the pancakes for your family, and I have 2 young children, and we do that on Christmas and Christmas Eve. We do the waffle maker with our 3-year-old son, and it's a little bit of a tradition we have. Another thing that you had mentioned was your trips to Boston, and Boston's a city that I became rather fond of. Again, minus the exorbitant amount of Patriots fans that you walk by. But I used to really love New York City in my early 20s, and since then I still like that city. But going to Boston the last couple of years, going to Plymouth Rock, the new Seaport district, all of the great restaurants. I was lucky enough to take a negotiations training at Harvard a couple summers ago, and I've really become fond of Boston. So I will never be a Patriots fan, but a Red Sox fan I am fine with since we don't have a major league team here in Buffalo. Was able to go with a customer to Fenway just recently. I hadn't been back since 2007 when my uncle had brought me there for my high school graduation gift, which was the year they won their second World Series in a couple years with David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. So other than, of course, Buffalo and the Bills, Boston is a great city, and I thought that was awesome that you had mentioned that. So thank you so much for having me this morning.
All right, Mr. Timer, could we have a report, please? So we can decide who to cast our ballots for.
You may indeed. Madam Topic Master. Margot spoke for 2 minutes on the nose. She qualified. Joe Budnick, 152, qualifies with the buffer. Dave Licata went a little bit long. So rare for you, Dave. A little bit exorbitant in telling your story about your event there. But 238, so that's beyond the 15-second buffer. And Zach did wonderful, 143, and he qualifies as well. So in terms of timing, Margot, Joe, and Zach qualify. Madam Topic Master.
Thank you, Len. And now we need a word master report. Nancy.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Margot, Joe, Margot used it once, Joe used it 3 times, Dave used it once, and Zach used it twice. So Margot, Joe, and Zach sound like they qualify for our table topics.
Okay. Margot, Joe, and Zach, please cast your ballot for one of them, and I'll turn things back to our Toastmaster of the day, Sylvia. Thank you.
We are big sports fans in this room here. We have many. In Boston Red Sox, we have a rival in our home. My one son is a Yankees fan with my husband, and then there's the younger one, who I don't know whose child he is a Boston Red Sox fan. And of course I'm a Mets. So we do have some fights. Our next portion is the speeches of the 3 people. We have today Beth, Les Robinson, and Michael Licata is going to be speaking. Our first evaluator is on Zoom, Larry McKenzie. Could you tell us about Beth's speech? Is he there? There he is.
Hello, good morning. Yes, I apologize for that. I was in the middle of moving the poll out of the direction of the screen. Today, I have the wonderful opportunity to be the evaluator for Beth Banks. She will be working from Presentation Mastery Level 4 elective project, Mastering Projects Successfully. This should be a joyful speech this morning from Beth. The title is Where Are We? An Update. Where Are We? An Update, Beth Banks.
A few months ago, I gave a speech about the festival and where are we in the festival, that we need to make more money and how do we do that? So I decided that I would give you a little update because I haven't actually finished the project, because finishing the project would mean it would be after the festival. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give you a little update. There were some questions I left you with in my last speech about the project. How do we get more paying guests to come into the festival? Well, we've done some things so far to try to get more paying guests in. And some of those things are to do with marketing. Okay, what do? We try to get out to more people. We try to get more flyers out. We have put ads in some publications we have not done before, or we haven't done in quite a while. Main Street Lockport has a publication coming out eventually, according to Grace. Not real fast here, but we'll get that. You can go on to the next one. Thank you. And we're also going to a few different places than we went to last year. We're also going to redirect some activity dollars to make people want to come to the festival more. Like what? Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to reduce some of, we've had morning musicians every year. Well, let's face it, there aren't that many people coming all the way over to the Celtic Arts stage on Saturday and Sunday morning. So we eliminated some of those, eliminated Celtic College and performers in the Wee Folkshire. By the Wee Folkshire's choice, they decided, yes, because then we could redirect money to elsewhere. We're bringing in some new groups, not necessarily Celtic, but groups to get people to come. We're having a cornhole tournament. We have Buffalo Aerial Dance coming in. They bring their own poles. How they do that, I don't know, but they tell me they can, so I have to, okay. We're having Bewitched Buffalo, which is a group of women who do a folk dance. Should be interesting. Midnight Inferno Productions has a fire show that they will be doing on Saturday evening. The Wee Folkshire, in moving some of the performers out, I said, well, what would you think about having the Lockport Woodworkers in your building? Because they want to do things for the kids. She was very excited. So we'll be having those. We also finally, after many years of trying, are supposed to have Hatchets and Hops coming in on Sunday. That also should be interesting. We have the Northeast Herd 4-H Club. They bring in their mini horses. They will be doing a little show in the outside arena out there. Some of them are coming in for free or reduced rates, so that does help our costs. So balancing. Is it easy? No, it is not easy. If you look, the next two slides just has, it gives you an idea for those of you who haven't been. This is our schedule. I don't expect you to read this, but if you look, the red lettering are all groups that are coming in new. So we are trying to get more new groups in, switch things up a little. A couple of new bands are coming in. Do we have to give a band a year off? Yes, but we also have a couple bands that have dissolved from last year to this year. So maybe not so much. So we'll be doing that. We need to answer our questions, and I think we're getting there. Go ahead. Just one of the things that we have been working on is increasing our sponsored and grant dollars. We've done it already. Do we need more? Yes. Am I working on more? Yes. Do I like to write grants? No. But I'm getting better at it. I certainly didn't go to school for writing grants. That was not my first job, writing grants. One of the things we've done too, the society itself that runs the festival, I've asked this for a few years, but finally some other people agreed, oh, we should go sales tax exempt. You think? And we finally did, and they allow us a 3-year clawback, they call it. So we received a check for over $10,000. So yes, we're trying. We've applied for 3 more grants. So hopefully we will get those. Actually, after I leave here, I will be going with my sister-in-law up to a little presentation on writing grants to do it better. We'll see. What are we going to do to effectively communicate with our teams? That isn't always easy, but we do meet. This year we met with Kate's teams, Vicky's teams in the fall, mine in January. Lots of communication through emails, texts, whatever. I keep daily notes of all the work I do for the festival. It's about this thick so far for this year of everything I'm doing. That's the succession plan. If anyone needs to know what I'm doing, it's all there. somebody can do it if it keeps going. We try to cultivate strong relationships with team members, extracurricular activities. We have a volleyball team, not a particularly successful volleyball team, but they have fun. That's the most important thing. And I do meet with my major stakeholders every other week, something like that, or more often. Our key is we need to be constantly improving in order to be successful. Thank you very much. I have no idea what the time was.
Our next evaluator, Mike Floria, will be evaluating Les Robinson. Mike.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests, good morning. I have to be honest, I found out just today that I'm Les's evaluator, so I'm not really sure. I have his title though. Les, are you ready to roll? Do you have the title? Do you want me to give it or you?
I can do it.
The title is Ask the Right Questions. Les will give you the answers, hopefully. All right, Les, take it away.
All right. Before I get started, we are doing fireworks at our house at July 4th. If you're interested, it starts around 7:30. Fireworks around 8:30, 8:45. Let me know. You've got the email on the agenda. Give me a jingle and bring a chair. So before I start this timing, I do this speech in about 2 minutes, and I've expanded it out to 5 to 7 minutes. So I am ready to start. Timer, are you ready? I am ready to go. Asking the right question. This is the thing that can cost people lots and lots of money. And I will give you an example of this. You have a husband and wife. Husband has a stroke. Husband becomes incapacitated, goes to the hospital. From there goes to rehab. From there goes to a non-medicated facility. The non-medicated facility says this is going to be $17,000 a month. The wife says, I will call the advisor. The advisor says to the wife that you're not on the account, pulls out the power of attorney and finds out that they have the wrong power of attorney. From there, they go to the lawyer. The lawyer gets them set up with a guardianship. And they also call the non-medicated facility to pay for the care. Now, they go to court. The judge says, ask the husband. Now he cannot sign a durable power of attorney, but he's kind of having a good day and the wife's excited. And the judge says, Mr. Smith, do you mind if someone handles your money? And Mr. Smith says, no, I don't want anybody to ask again. Gavel goes down. From a 4-month guardianship is now moved out to 15 months. At the end of the 15 months, the lawyers are paid, the nursing home is paid, and the wife realizes that, hey, we're losing all the money. So they then go back and they say, hey, we better get a Medicaid plan. So they start the Medicaid plan, and the wife then in turn gets everything set up for the 5-year look back and goes to the non-medicated facility and say, hey, by the way, I would like to apply for Medicaid. And the Medicaid facility says, we're a non-Medicaid, so you have to pay. So they then get the husband into a Medicaid facility. And by the way, they spent about 8 months going through the Medicaid process. So when all done and said, the wife is left with about $90,000. Okay. When you work with our system, very simple. We make sure everybody has a durable power of attorney. So we don't have guardianship. We have you set up for the Medicaid look back. And at the end of the day, you go into a Medicaid facility so you can protect your money. So same husband and wife. This time the wife saves about $600,000 or $700,000. But where we get into is people come to my classes. And very simple. There's no durable power of attorney. They're in the guardianship. And first we explain that they have to get out of the non-medicated facility because once they receive guardianship, they will in turn have to still keep paying. So we get it moved from place A to place B. We make sure that everybody also has a durable power of attorney. We also start the 5-year look back. So at the end of the 15 months, we're already planning for Medicaid, and we do a couple other things. The other thing we explain to the wife is that your husband is going to be brought into court, and your husband's going to be asked only one question. And if he answers that question incorrectly, you're going to take guardianship from 4 months up to 15 months. Also, the other thing is you're going to go from now on and report to the judge and everything you spend, which is a good thing and a bad thing because it takes a lot of time. So once the 15 months all comes through, very simple, very easy. You're in a medicated facility, not in a non-medicated facility. You are moving as much money. You're paying the lawyers. The other thing is what happened is you can negotiate your premium with the lawyers, because a lot of people come in and they sign. I'll give you a prime example. You have $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 that you can protect, and you signed a contract with a lawyer to do Medicaid planning for $20,000. It makes no sense. You're just wasting money. And my other one is that you've been in a facility while you're going through guardianship, and at the end of the day, most attorneys don't do this, is you can get 6% back for each month of your care costs, because it's a state tax. And if you fill out your tax return, you can get the return. Most people don't realize that. So all of these factors come in to play. So when they work with us, they'll be able to save, maybe $200,000-$300,000. Now, our people that come to my classes that I work with, I don't work with, they only have to ask one question. They don't have to be a lawyer. They don't have to be an accountant. They don't have to be an advisor. They don't have to know anything. They don't even have to even understand the 5-year look back, how Medicaid works. And this is the question that actually it's a whole class has come through at University Express, is asking the correct questions. But it bubbles down to one question. When you look at your power of attorney, will this protect me from Medicaid and be able to move all my money? Yes or no? If the attorney says no, or that's not a good thing, you have a problem. If you ask your advisor, hey, how's my money protected for the 5-year look back? Is that good or is that bad? The question, once again, is very simple. How is my money protected from Medicaid? You ask that one question, you're going to avoid the situation of the first person who kept $90,000 because that person assumed that everything was good and it was just drive your finances off. So at the end of the day, by asking the incorrect question, you can lose all of your money. That's why when you come to my seminars or you're a client, we only ask one question. How does this protect against Medicaid? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Les. Our third evaluator, Stephen Smith, will be evaluating Mike Licata.
Maybe they're trying to tell me something. Today I'm evaluating Mike Licata. He is engage your audience with humor level 3. Now, the purpose of his project is for the member to determine their style of humor and apply it to the speech that centers around a central message. His time is 5 to 7 minutes. And his title is Origin Story, Mike Licata.
Locked. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Situated. Thank you, Len, Master of Ceremonies, runs everything in the club. Be nowhere without him. Good morning. My speech this morning starts with a lie. Everyone lies. So where does the lie come in? My Toastmasters journey started with a lie. Started with a telephone interview that said I had already joined Toastmasters when I really hadn't. Being the son of Dave Licata meant I had to join because of the lie.
overall, it was a good lie. It was a lie that brought me here among all of you, and I got to meet some tremendous people. And the other thing that I can say as a member of AM Lockport Toastmasters is we are incredibly spoiled. We also spend an exorbitant amount of time evaluating each other, and it's something that we just need to enjoy the process, to copy coach speak, and just enjoy the success this club has had. Because if you go to other clubs, a lot of them are struggling. Not a lot, but what Marshall said was great a couple weeks ago during his speech, that we are one of the few clubs that actually gets 3 speakers every week. And it's important to understand that given the opportunities to speak, given the opportunities to become a better speaker, you can use what Toastmasters teaches us at a professional level. I didn't end up getting the job that I lied in the interview for, but I did end up working for Margot. I had always worked for Margot at the time. And the ability to learn, the ability to ask questions, the ability to listen has provided a lot of great free entertainment. Because I always say, working for Margot, the 80% of the customers that walk into Margin Manor are completely forgettable. But man, those 20% provide a lot of free, tremendous entertainment, because the questions you get asked, the responses, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to experience. And some of it is just a gold mine for humor and comedy and everything else. Some of the things that I've learned in Toastmasters, and a lot of the valuable skills that goes back to, is you learn to listen and you learn to evaluate. And when you're in Toastmasters long enough, you learn to evaluate everything. You evaluate TV, you evaluate speeches, you evaluate the news, you evaluate everything. And it definitely is a curse when it comes to a lot of public speaking from politicians, when it comes to talking heads on TV, in the news. So it's important to develop those listening skills. It's important to, let's see if I can do this. It's important to develop listening skills, because Toastmasters is going to help you get promotions. That's usually how we lose a lot of really good members, is they join the club based on the recommendation of their employer, whether they're no friends, corporate clubs, but they usually not time out, but they usually get promoted out because they learned so much in AM Lockport. So I'm glad Zach is here for this speech. I'm glad he's halfway to filling out the form to become our newest member, because it's important to see young professionals like myself, like Eric, and a couple other, and Mary as well, that are embracing public speaking as a skill we need to learn and develop, because I do think it's a lost art. I do think public speaking is unfortunately something that is getting more difficult for a lot of different people, because it's easier to text, it's easier to send an email, but it also takes a lot to come in and to learn how to command an audience and command a room. Now, Toastmasters has always also helped in a couple different ways with a lot of our members too, is that a lot of our members have taken on leadership roles within different service organizations. I know Steve, Margot, and Phil Russell are all in Lions clubs. So service organizations, everything else. And I'm not in a service organization, but as a member of my part-time summer job as a Lockport umpire, I have been given the opportunity to take on more of a leadership role in mentoring newer members of our umpires association. So I think it's important to pass down everything we've learned as Toastmasters. Now, my Toastmasters journey started with a lie. It started with withholding some of the truth, but I'm very glad I told that lie because it has helped me become a better speaker and a better overall person. Madam Toastmaster.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Mr. Timer, how did our speakers do this morning?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm pleased to report that all three of our program speakers qualified. We had Beth Banks at 6:56, Les Robinson at 5:41, and Mike Licata at 6:28. Online voting will be up in just a second.
Okay, now I'm going to recall the evaluators. We'll start with Larry McKenzie online. Larry, could you do evaluation of Beth?
Today I had the great opportunity of listening to a speech that was given by Beth Banks. Beth's project today was through presentation mastery, and it was in regards to a successful project. Today, Beth gave us a report. Now, what I was wondering when you were giving the beginning of your report was, are you giving this report to the group of volunteers and your committee when you meet with them, or were you giving the report to a general audience? One of the things that I did enjoy was the fact that you had good vocal variety. When you got into the point when you were talking about, we have a volleyball team and they have fun, you got really engaged with that. Throughout your speech, you did mention a couple of things where you were having to write grants. And you said that that was one of the things that wasn't and you were searching for a word. And you said, one of my first jobs. Maybe forte would have been something that you would have thrown in there. Wasn't my forte. One of the things that I enjoyed about the speech was that you gave a detailed report on things that you're doing to improve the festival. The festival. Here's the question. When you began your speech, you started out with, in my last speech, about the festival. Now, if I had never heard your last speech, or I didn't know about the festival, I wouldn't have known what you were correlating the rest of your speech with. I would have liked a more powerful opening, maybe Celtic Festival, September 14th and 15th. Here's the report on what we're doing. And bring us in with that. You explained a lot of the items that you were doing. You used a PowerPoint today, which I commend you on. Not many of us have used PowerPoints within our presentations. One of the things about presentations, when you use a PowerPoint, when you get to some of the slides that have the very small print, very difficult to read from a perspective. I know you mentioned that the red highlights. Thank you for doing that, because if you had not have done that, it would have looked like a lot of things that we could not understand. But by saying that the red, we can see that there were a lot of changes on that page. Also, with your speech, you talked about the different things that were taking place this year that were going to be different than in the past, different things on regards to the money and what have you, on how to keep the festival going. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the fact that you said that you journal and you have many notes and anyone could take over. But you're doing such a great job with what you're doing, Beth, with the festival. We hope that you continue doing that for many more years. One of the things that I also would have liked to hear was an action call at the end, a powerful ending. Now you've heard what I had to present. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or things that you think could benefit the Celtic Festival this year and years in the future, please let me know. We'll add it to our agenda. Beth, we're looking forward to the Celtic Festival in September, the 14th and 15th. I appreciate your speech today and a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Our second evaluator, Mike Florio, is coming right on up.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our guest Zach, and especially Les. Les, we tend to hold you to a higher standard because you're a longtime speaker, and so you get pushed a little bit. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. But there are a lot of good things I saw in this speech. Your living room's beautiful, okay, and that's not taken away from you, but you might want to work on the shade because a lot of times backlighting hurts in front of you, and you've done a lot of things to change that. You're not lounging down anymore. You're sitting up, you're there, and it's a really nice backdrop. So that you've worked out very well. This was, maybe just closing that screen might give you a little bit more light towards yourself so you can show off that tan. Now, this was a great informational speech. It was, in my mind, kind of like a teaser speech. You gave a little bit of information, just enough. It was kind of like a 2-minute infomercial where you said a few things about what you do and what you might run into that could be a problem. And again, I think we talked about this before because I've been your evaluator before, is that you tend to use jargon that some people know and some people don't understand. Power of attorney, I'm familiar with the power of attorney, right? But durable power of attorney, is there a difference there? And I would have maybe liked an explanation of that, and that could have maybe worked your speech out into a 5 or 7 minute speech. And then things like guardianship, just going over what that entails. That might even be a speech in itself. 5-year look back, things like that. I'm familiar with 5-year look back. I thought it was now 7, but apparently it is 5. And what that entails. I guess I would challenge you, Les. You have, I'm sure, some really wild ass stories of, I'm sorry, excuse my French, of what you've come across with people. And, I know cigars, I know bourbon. I want to know about the guy that choked on a cigar while drinking a bourbon and what happened. And that would add some flavor to your story, which would really pull people in and make them kind of want to know more, and we definitely want to know more and share your knowledge. Thanks, Les.
Our third evaluator, Stephen Smith, is going to give us his evaluation of Mike's speech.
Thank you. Now, the first thing I notice is that Mike left the room before. Oh, is he? Okay, just in time. I was gonna make a joke about you leaving when I'm gonna talk. I'm not sure what that meant, but you took that away from me. Thank you. Mike's speech, I found interesting. He came up here right off the bat, grabbed the microphone, and got right out in front. Now you got my attention. This is good. And then you start right out getting our attention further by saying, my speech starts out with a lie. What? This is one thing I thought you did well. You got our attention and you held our attention. You had some very interesting points to make. And then you explain what you meant by starting out with a lie, by telling an interview you were already a Toastmaster and I'm Dave Licata's son. I've got to be. This is really getting us hooked. You want to talk, Dave? Now, thanks for derailing me. And you pointed out other things that we're spoiling this club. We don't know how good we have it. Other clubs are struggling. We always seem to have 3 speakers. And if we don't, we have plenty of people for table topics. We know how to make this work and we should give ourselves a hand for that. But you had some good points in there. It teaches you to learn to listen, to learn to evaluate. Then you mentioned the fact that when you evaluate, you really can't shut that off. You find yourself doing it with politicians, professional athletes. You could have elaborated on that a little more because they will drive you nuts when you start counting their ahs and ums. Now, as far as improvements, you seem to get lost a couple of times, but to your credit, you thought about it a second, you got right back on track and kept going. That's good. About the only way to cure that is a little more rehearsal. Be more familiar with the material when you get up here. And the other comment I'd like to make, you had a lot of good barbs in there. You had a good voice, but you need some more gestures. You need a little more vocal variety when you're getting into some of this material. That would really punch home some of this stuff because you had some good material in there and it was well delivered. I thank you for bringing it to us today. Thank you.
Okay. Len's last job for now. Timer.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Once again, everybody qualified. We had Larry McKenzie at 3:11, Mike Florio at 3:05, and Steve Smith at 2:30. Again, the online poll will be up in just a moment. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, the weekend is coming upon us and I hope everybody has plans this weekend. I know the weather's supposed to be decent and it's Father's Day weekend, right? Oh yes, many picnics. Oh, we care about Father's Day. One of the weekends way back, my boys decided for my father, their grandfather, that they wanted to go to Toronto and see a Yankees game. So that was one of the best gifts he ever received from us, and he really appreciated it. Getting on the bus and driving up there and having a good time. Good memories. So now I am going to call on Kate, our general evaluator who snuck in. And she's also going to call in a few minutes Mary for our just for today. Yes, we do.
Thank you. Thank you. Deepest apologies for our lateness. We zoomed in, we tried. Thank you all. We had a great meeting. Welcome, Zach. Welcome back or welcome for the first time? Welcome for the first time. Fantastic. We've had a lot of different guests every week. You know, the open houses were great, but you came on a day that's not an open house. You're an extra special guest, Zach. We might call on you to see how you thought of the meeting and how you heard about us. So kind of keep that in mind if you're okay with that. For my general evaluation for our honored guest, Zach, and our newest members, I evaluate the evaluators. Sometimes it's challenging. Our general evaluators forget and they think they have to evaluate the speakers and it can get convoluted. I thought we had a fantastic meeting. I know I missed in person the first 10 minutes. Thank you all. Usually I'm getting some things set up on the side. I'm ready to not be president the first week of July. So I am glad you passed the test with flying colors and your new sergeant at arms also. That was my fault. She was late, not hers. We had fantastic fantastic topic. The theme by Sylvia, and it's great to see you again in person. The theme is fantastic. We're all thinking about what's our summer bringing? We have to cram great weather into 8 weeks. We already have, I mean, how many of you, show of hands, have most of your weekends already booked for the summer, right? Like, you know where you're going, what you're doing, which graduation and weddings you're going to already, and it's Labor Day. Don't think about that right now. It's not even really summer until solstice this week. I thought we had a fabulous meeting, and in the interest of time, I'll get right to our evaluator evaluations, and then I will call up Mary, who is our jester today. Usually that's a little earlier in the meeting, but we can use humor anytime. I think that because we had 3 very seasoned evaluators, I don't want our guests, Zach, or our newest members to be a little worried, because there were excellent speakers and excellent evaluators. When we all start taking turns again for the next quarter, our newest members and guests start getting drawn into that. You have to be a member to be on the schedule, and you can't even be an evaluator until you've given 3 speeches. So it's weeks or months away, depending on how often you attend. Our evaluator, Larry, zooming in today. Excellent suggestions for clarity. I'm so glad we have these meetings recorded, because we can go back and look at and reflect on how we spoke, how we did in any role, and what our evaluators said if we couldn't catch everything. You made such salient points. You gave Beth excellent feedback coming from someone from the outside, like, what about this? However, since you have been involved, you're a Celtic Fest insider for so long, Larry, your feedback is even extra helpful. And that was just by chance that you were on the schedule that way. So that's super appreciated. The clarity that you brought to mind is fantastic. Mike Florio, Unsung Hero Award for the day for many weeks, actually. You are Sergeant at Arms, getting things set up. You're doing the ballots. You're on deck every time you had to speak. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on point today. I liked your suggestions pertaining for less to jargon, which can get deep, and lighting and storytelling. That could really amp up less. And I will say, Les, that was fantastic. We're not really supposed to, as GE, evaluate the speakers. I really liked, that was very interesting side of your speaking. And Mike, I also liked your teaser description, because that's kind of what Les's speech was. Steve, ever the dramatic, excellent words, tone, physicality, a super evaluation overall, giving Mike some suggestions for that flair for the dramatic. And I love seeing that Mike is bringing that more and more every time he speaks and gives us a little bit more. I love the word of the day. Nancy, thank you. I'll call on you at the end, or maybe Sylvia will. I think we have to use the word of the day, maybe. Okay, so I think that some professional development costs are exorbitant. Speaking organizations, leadership organizations, networking organizations, and dues and attendance and requirements, and invite other people and do things and requirements. I don't find Toastmasters to be exorbitant at all. This is my 16th year in Toastmasters. Folks, it's up to a whopping $2 and change per meeting. That's a ton. For this kind of enrichment, this kind of motivation, this kind of encouragement, this kind of space for us to grow, it's so worthwhile. I mean, folks, what is our motto? What is our motto? It's so worthwhile. $2 a meeting, $2.50 a meeting. And we have these connections that carry us for the next hour, for the next day, maybe the next week. And we're here every Thursday. So I think nothing exorbitant about this development. I think that's enough for my GE report, except I'm going to call on our jester, Mary. Is that good? All right, Mary, come on up to give us a joke for the day. You want to do it? Okay. Mary. Okay, Dave Licata is going to like this joke she just said. All right, Mary.
Why is Spidey so good at planning a vacation?
Check the web.
No, they booked their website, their web deals. Should I do one more? Why are secret agents taking time off? Because their work is always undercover. They liked it.
He did like it. He did like it. Thank you so much, Mary, for the joke. Do we have, I think I was passed along, so I better do the closing reports also. Our quiz master did we have yes, David Jones online. Are you ready for quizzing us? How have we been listening?
Yes, and if Kate, if you could call out the answers, because we on Zoom cannot hear what everybody in the room is saying, and we're always saying.
Everything.
Assuming it's okay. Had an exorbitant amount of information today to be the quiz master. We'll start with Dave Channon's great American Sign Language quote. And who was the quote by?
Maya Angelou. Oh, everyone said Maya Angelou.
Ooh.
We love Maya.
And what is Jackie's grandson's favorite food?
Pancakes.
There you go.
Pancakes.
And in the year 2024, which app did Joe B finally get?
Facebook.
Facebook. Oh,
Welcome.
you did? I didn't hear that.
Let's see, Dave number one, who we like to call him, whenever he stays, does a staycation in Buffalo, which hotel do they prefer?
Ooh.
Curtis. The Curtis.
The Curtis. I looked it up. It
Double
looks
S. It's a nice place.
Our guest and soon-to-be member, Zach, is not a fan of which NFL team?
Patriots.
The Patriots.
And rightfully so. Unless his speech was about one question, and what was that one question? It could be tricky.
Ask the right question.
No, it was, will your power of attorney protect you? That was the question.
Will your power of attorney protect? Sorry, I did a bad job of relaying the possible answers that I heard.
That's all right.
Thanks,
And the
David.
final question, and I think Kate can rectify it. What AM Lockport tradition have we not done today?
Toast.
Give me my drink. Can
Back to
someone
you.
come up and
Yes.
join me and do a toast? Because my coffee is sitting back by the window. Sylvia, our Toastmaster. And as a GE, I should have said something too. I missed it. Well, here we are. We will toast. What shall we toast to, Dave Jones? Oh my goodness.
Well, you might not have heard, but I will be there in person October 10th for the meeting. So I'm looking forward to coming
Bravo
and visiting
to
everybody.
visitors, to visiting, to trips, to the trips we'll
Yes.
take and the friends we make and friends we have. Cheers. Here's here. Here. Cheers. I'm not sure what just I said. Cheers. Thank you, Dave, for helping us rectify that. Always toasting in Toastmasters. Okay. Any other reports? That is our word master of the day. Word master. And then we'll give the winners. And Zach's on deck to maybe say what he thinks about the meeting today, if he is okay with that.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm almost out of purple ink. A lot of great things. Amenities, salient, charm of this, wonderful opportunities, unsung heroes, joyful redirect activity dollars, convoluted clawback, which I never heard before, cultivate strong teams. I think, oh, never mind, that's something else. Some of the words that could have been better used instead of hadda would be had to, gonna, going to. There were a couple of tenses where is was used instead of are. Really, you really don't need to say it twice. Real versus really. I think I heard it was like real good instead of really good. Lots and lotta was used a lot of times. Kinda. Get versus get. I heard that 3 times. And Les Robinson, you referred to Mr. and Mrs. You referred to Mr. and Mrs. as a couple, and then you referred to Mr. Smith as Mr. Smith, and then it was just the wife. Hello, that is not only is grammarly incorrect, it is sexist as well, and I am sorry to say that, but I don't ever like to be referred to as the wife.
I agree.
The word of the day did really well with our table topics. Margot used it once, Joe used it 3 times. Dave Licata Dave Licata, Zach used it twice, and then David Jones used it, Katie used it 3 times with a little prompting. And Mike Licata used it. And also Jackie used it, prompting our speakers. So as a filler word and as a filler word did very well today, not in a good sense, but used a little extra purple ink. Kinda, now, and there was a and a, and right at the end of the sentence, just ends up being a filler kind of word. And also I think it was you that said, I think, and that takes away from the impact. Be more definitive. You know your stuff. That is my report. And I will take my purple.
Take your purple pen back. Sorry, I left my stuff up here. It was not in your way. Oh, stuff. I don't like that word and I just used it. All right, any more reports I'm forgetting? All right, Zach, would you like to join us at the lectern? And you don't have to, no pressure. Come on up. He's like, I'm already been up once. Da, 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 da. Thanks for coming up. I'm sorry that I was arriving just as you were doing your table topics. So I'm sorry that I missed some. So if you already said how you found us or anything like that, sorry.
I didn't do that yet.
That'd be
Can
cool.
you, something that I struggle with is I'll get in front of a stand
Yeah.
and I can't fix this. And then I'll be literally in front of 300 people and I'll be standing like this because I'm too embarrassed to try to fix this.
That's not a bad idea because the tech guy's going, that's fine. Don't touch my stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I think I just
the nice
tightened
thing
it.
about here is we can
Okay.
play with it, and that's the point. of
Awesome.
This practice ground, so, and then sometimes we can do it, I go to the side so that the people see how, well, you're in a perfect spot. What do you guys think?
Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think that's actually perfect.
Great. So yes, so I shouldn't have used the word so, look at that, first day. I found you all online. I had heard of Toastmasters in general. I work out of Lockport. I work for a prevalent family in the area, the Judge and the Murphy family. You might know that. The Seamus is owned by my boss's sister-in-law. So Jennifer Murphy is the president of the company that I work for, and she's always pushing me to join these types of things and join executive leadership forums, and something that we do at our I will. I'll be sure to. There we go again. So I found you online and I go to the office Tuesdays and Thursdays and I have a meeting at 9 o'clock that I have to get to. So this is the perfect timing. It works very well for my schedule. I do have 2 young children and I travel a lot for work. So I really appreciate the flexibility that this offers. And the price is very reasonable. I'll be expensing that, but I appreciate that it's at low expense. It is not an exorbitant cost at all. Many of the other items that I looked for online were way more expensive, and I wanted to be able to come here in person, and understanding that I can call in from the road is also quite the treat. So thank you all for having me, and I'm definitely going to be joining, and I have my application here if someone can help me on the way out.
Stay right here, just not step over, it's okay, I do it all the time. Stay right here, sir, because we give awards at the end, and our best table topic speaker of the day is our guest, newest member, Zach. Bravo, Zach. You're in the right place, and I have a ribbon for you, your best table topics today. you might have the chance to do that again soon. All right, awesome. Zach, thank you for joining us, and we'll help you at the end. Also, some folks will be going to breakfast, place to be decided, not Olive Leaf this week, so maybe Calamatas. We'll see. Some folks have to go quickly afterwards, though. Yes, I'm going to keep going with the awards, and then we have on deck who is Toastmaster and speaker next week. So speakers next week. We have our best evaluators tied today between Steve Smith and Mike Florio. So we have a tie. Larry, sorry, gotta come in person. Mike and Steve. Would you like ribbons? Mike and Steve, that was a tie. Yeah, arm wrestle. I only have one ribbon left. No, don't break anything. I have more than one ribbon. Well done, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bravo. And our best speaker of the day. And we need more speaker ribbons ordered next time we order at our next meeting. Our best speaker of the day is Beth Banks. Beth Banks, come on up. It says right on here, Beth Banks. So you can go ahead and draw the split club ticket. Zach, Beth is our treasurer also. So she was on deck for the best speaker to draw the split club ticket winner, and that's her today. So the last three digits are, I can't see, 635. 635. It's Nancy. Nancy wins the dollars and donated it back to the club. Thank you, Nancy. You're the best. All right, just after 8:20, and our Toastmaster of the week next week is Joe. Joe, you said you have a theme for us you'd like to share? What's that? You want to come up or just tell us? The electric company. Oh, the TV show? The Electric Company. We're taking a dive back to childhood nostalgia with the Electric Company and Joe. Our speakers are David Jones and Mark Campos, and there's an opening, and Steve is the alternate. If you're interested, the opening is, he can't. So we need a second speaker. He's out of town and can't be here. So we'll figure that out June 20th. I do have, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, but I have a couple of announcements. Adjourn so we can stop the recording.